Hi guys, I'm here with Andrew Sullivan, who got 46th place at the Remote YCS with Infernoble. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
So before we begin, I want to ask, how was the Remote YCS experience? I know a lot of people have been talking about how, it being online can be kind of sketch, can be a lot of cheating. How was your overall experience?
I didn't see anyone cheating from my perspective, but that's also because my matches did not last long.
Yeah, what
My
was like the
matches,
average time?
for mine, I think the longest was 35, average was 20.
Nice, that was quick.
I mean, there was a lot of 2-0s though.
Yeah, what
So,
was your record going into the or at the end of the YCS?
9 and 2. Unfortunately, my tiebreakers did not do so well day two.
Yep. And was it pretty smooth? Because I know there's like thousands of people. Was like the event ran pretty smooth?
Um, the group I was assigned, Group B, it was fun. We had one error with a bot, but that was about it. Other than that, it was pretty good. Just people taking forever and being a little. People should know not to slow play, so that my only.
Yeah. All right, cool. And before we get into the deck list, do you have any shout outs do you want to give?
Team Legends, you guys give effective criticism to help me learn to be better and why certain decision making is good or bad.
Awesome. All right, so let's get into the deck list.
So 40 main deck with 21 monsters. So 3 copies of the best normal summon in the game. If this card does not get interrupted, you probably win.
Mm-hmm.
So this card basically hand checks, or not hand checks, but like forces every hand trap in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty good. And Partner Crime. I don't think there's much else to say about it. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the Nobles, I'm running 7, 3 Nod, 3 Oliver, and the 1 Ogier. I still run this. I know some people don't necessarily like running him or consider cutting him. I think it's too good with Lightning Storm in the meta potentially. So also it makes certain plays with Gear Freed. If you summon Gear Freed off of DDR, you can send the DDR if it's equipped with Ogier. So it bypasses stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I play 3 Renard because I like the grind game and extender.
Yep. Card's insane.
And then for actual extenders, we have 3 Red Layer and 3 Fire Flint. I used to only play 2 Flint, but that was during Dragon format where Flint was kind of bad, but Red Layer was better.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's kind of like maybe I'll cut or Red Layer to 2 because it's like Flint's more impactful. It feels like than
Yep.
the Red Layer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then your main Assault target, Gemba. I'll go more over why Gemba is actually important, because I know people like playing the Riser Balmung version, but I don't like that version. So, then the 1 Gear. It's all the Warriors, and then Halka Rodon package.
Yep. Gotta have those.
I drew this thing way too many times game 3. So, then I'm on 8 equips. The 3 Durandal. 3 DDR. Exploit and Living Fossil. I know some people like Metal Silver. I don't. I played with Smoke Grenade, and in Smoke Grenade format, you knew how bad it was to draw that 1 extra brick that was Smoke Grenade, because like the card was unusable for the most part when you drew it.
Yep.
And that's kind of like how I see it. Silver Armor, yeah, it's a good card, but it does it win you the game, not necessarily. It can win you certain matchups, but it's more of a gimmick. And it's more a liability than anything else, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer cards that, if you draw it, it has to have use. And if it doesn't, it's probably the Coldwing. So, then for 3 searches, 2 Chalice and 1 Rhoda. I bumped this to 2, and you'll see why in a second, but I usually just slide 1 out every time. Card's kind of bad, but you kind of have to run it.
So does Droll hurt your deck at all?
People are usually hand looping themselves by trolling me. Some hands it's really annoying, or it turns off certain plays, but it doesn't hinder the deck's ability to play.
Yeah.
It just hinders the maximum. Like maybe I'll only end on 2 negates instead of 3 negates.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I'll only end on negate pop instead of 2 negates a pop. So it's like pick your poison.
Yep.
And then I did not want to run hand traps because I didn't want to deal with boards. I did not want to deal with ultimateness or any other floodgates. So I just run these 6 side them out if they're bad, which is pretty nice because I have a lot of cards that you can flexibly slide into that these just all replace evenly. So it made it easy. And then because I'm running droplets, that's why I was running double heritage, because you can send the heritages to cost.
Oh, that's an awesome interaction. And did you have any problems like drawing Dark Ruler no more going first?
Not going first. Playing Persist out and drawing 3 Dark Ruler no more game 1 was pretty weird.
Yep.
So, and then the last 2 cards are the Saki one of Feather Duster and Called By. I drew this once the entire tournament. Kind of sad about that, but it's what it is. I'm not going to cut it. I just didn't draw it. And then I wanted to main deck 1 mine out. I thought there was maybe more striker players, or, I didn't play it against any Tri Brigade. So I thought that this is like, even if I'm only +1ing on back row, growing 1-for-1, back rows would actually can hinder this deck a lot with like well-timed Strike, Torrential, Revolt. So I figured it was higher impact than like a random Cosmic.
Yep. So then now that you have like a better idea of like the meta, is there anything in the main deck that you would change?
Like I said, maybe the 1 red layer. I don't know what I would change it to, but that would probably be the one spot to look at first.
Okay.
I think right now, because of how many hand traps, you need to play 3 Oliver, because this gets you to Helix still. I'll explain, like I said, I'll explain why I'm still running Gemba, because it doesn't make sense until you realize the extra deck.
Yep.
So, maybe cut Feather Duster, but again, what other one of it I play? I don't want to play an Extender, I want at least 1 mine out, and it's like, I don't know. We'll just see how the meta evolves for this weekend.
Got it.
So. Okay, and then for extra deck, double Isolde, pretty standard. I run 2 Hulk, so I'm under the impression Hulk will eventually get negated. And by the time you make the second one, when you make the second one, you win, because the second one is not going to get negated.
Right.
So, and you can still make a Rordan afterwards, it's pretty good. It's good. So, the second Hulk hasn't come up this weekend, but it's come up in other tournaments a lot, where it's like, sometimes you literally just draw Fireflint, and that's how you have to make a Soul and get to Hulk, and then they fail or the Hulk. So you need to figure out how to stall, and that's one of the ways to do it. So double Hulk, so. I run 2 Heralds, because not much return. Pretty good Flight Gate as well. Then the 2 Nobles, not much to say on these guys.
Yep.
Then I run the Savage, Power Tools, the other 7-8, and then the only other 8 I play is Omega. These are all kind of standard. I know some people play 2 with Dracossack. I don't like that. That's 2 all in. It loses 2 Dark Ruler too hard.
Yep.
So I try to avoid losing a Dark Ruler. So the last 2 cards are Librarian and Trishula as my flex spots. This card says if you can make him and you don't get nibbed, you can just set up for next turn instead of like 3 gate board. Be like break it or IOTK you. So
can you go into why you didn't want to go with like the Balmung build?
Again, 2 all in on combo, you have no resources left in hand, you'll maybe have like 1 card off Isolde and Roland. So 2 cards. The thing about Librarian is that Librarian lets you fix your hand by drawing. Like, the only issue with Librarian is you have a 1 on average, it's usually 1 in 29 or 1 in 28 chances to draw the Gullwing. So that is the only risk, but I think it's worth taking it for the amount of pluses you get. So, because in part of the combo, what it does is it sacks a Herald to the grave as part of the combo intentionally to the Living Fossil Impact to play around the Dark Ruler.
Yep.
So, and then Trishula, this wins you the Grain Game, and it also wins you the comeback boards because it breaks like usually the last line of defense, or what it does is it kills the recursion. So like versus a Tristram player, the only Tristram player I played, I hit his Gamma in grave, his 1 ritual in hand, and another monster on board, and he couldn't recover. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and Trishula also just more hand loops, so why not? Yeah, it's just like I prefer Toolbox and Recursion, because this deck can actually grind really well if you play it correctly. It's just you have to have the patience. So.
Gotcha. All right, moving on to the side deck.
3 draw every time I drew it. Went pretty well.
Yep. Seems pretty staple now in this format.
I think it's the best side.
Yep.
Other than this 3 nib.
Yeah.
When I resolved it, I won.
Yeah, Nib's pretty insane.
It was like I played the mirror surprisingly, and it like the dude saw it off of Dolphin, but he couldn't play around it, so he kind of passed. And then I kind of just made my own board, and then he had to break the board and the Nibiru, so it was kind of hard. 3 Godarla.
That's interesting.
I respect the Wind Barrier statue, and I respect Arrival 6 material. Actually, I lost Arrival 6 material. Game 1, but then I beat them in the match. But I never drew this the entire tourney. But anytime I didn't draw this, I drew one of these guys. So I kind of it's the same idea.
Yep.
It just blows out the one issue you have.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm happy I cited it. I never saw it, but I'm happy it was there as an option.
Yep.
So, and then 3 twin for back row because I'm not gonna deal with back row, please. I'm not gonna play Cosmic because sometimes people side lands the other playing back row decks against me. And that's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
When they land you on your Cosmic, you just feel really stupid. Then the controversial cards, Order, Reboot. I don't like citing these cards. These cards feel dirty. I wish both were banned, but
Gotta do it, right?
yeah. One round, game 2, I made double Herald, Savage, and set Order versus Administer. So I think Ion needs to get banned because of combo decks ruining it.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong card.
And lastly was Judgment because I'm like, I have a 15th slot. Nothing else piqued my interest.
So you just stuck the Judgment in there. It's not too bad, right? You go first and you have some secure board against
It's
Dark
more
Ruler.
it's like against all the decks. Like if you look at it with the 3 Dark Ruler, it's like you got this, you got this. Pick your poison between this, and this, and it's like, well, I guess Judgment's like the best generic card. I never saw Judgment all weekend. But the one thing I think I might replace it with would be maybe a second Carefree for breaking boards. Because Carefree's just insane. I know people like Pink, but you know, Pink's not recurable. Carefree is, and Carefree is more in line with I can break board with Carefree, then make a Soul Day main phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
after the event, was there any changes you think you would make to your side deck, or do you think it was pretty solid?
it's like I don't know. It's like this is like the main card. It's like the most flexible spot.
Yeah. Everything else seems pretty cookie cutter. Maybe the Godarlas, but I think the Godarla choice is really good because it outs Barrier Statue and Arrival, so that seems like a really good slot.
It also adds Ultimateness, which is really nice.
Yeah,
but,
Ultimateness is, yeah.
I had weird samples. I didn't play versus a single striker or a single
Tri-Brigade.
Yeah, Tri-Brigade. So, I mean, this was built to be Tritron and Tri-Brigade mostly, and like I don't care about Striker. Striker is a bad deck.
Yeah.
Like I will beat Striker any day. I think Striker's overrated. I think that this deck can just outgrind and outpush it too fast, like where by the time Striker can recur to this deck's level, they've already taken lethal damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my personal opinion. So I just think, and that's the other reason I want to play Gearfried is like I want Gearfried's also another pseudo out to Striker because one, you equip the link, but two, Gearfried's just like another 3000 attack extender. So pretty good card.
Mm-hmm. So what were your matchups for the tourney?
2 Invoke Dogmatica Shadals. It was funny actually, because there's no other way to explain it because it was so funny. I went Viral, normal connector, he ashes, I pass because I had all revive equips in hand. He like only does normal summon Macabre combo.
Yep.
Because normal summon Alistair to Macabre because he had 3 Shadal fusions and I couldn't even get to a Soul Day. And then I don't even remember what I drew, but I was able to combo off after that. So played 2 of those. I played 3 Ignister.
3 Ignister. That's interesting.
I lost Dyral to all 3 of them.
It seemed like you were pretty prepared that you had the 3 Godarlas, which you never drew.
Yeah, I mean, one of them bricked. I think he was on Eye Contact Turbo, I guess. He just drew like three islands. I don't know. I mean, it's the player choice. So
Yeah.
I played 2 salads. One of them had some really nutty desires, and I lost die roll in that, which was unfortunate. And I drew Coltwing game 3, so that's what it is. And then I played against Zombie Eldritch and Mermails.
Mermails of all decks. That's interesting.
Yeah, he did not realize how bad my hand was, but he scooped on the Dolphin game 1. I had Coltwing 001 in hand.
That
But
must have been
Dolphin
nice.
Yeah, Dolphin was enough to scare him, and I was trying so hard not to laugh because my hand was that atrocious. So, but apparently his hand was that much bad. So,
So you mentioned you finished 9-2. What were your 2 losses? What were the 2 decks that you lost to?
Ignister and Salad.
Ignister and Salad.
I lost dice roll to both. Ignister was maining strikes.
Ooh.
So I lost to strike game 1. I could have outed it. Well, if there wasn't strike, I could have outed the arrival. Game 1, and then game 3 he had Solemn Judgment. So it made it pretty hard.
Yeah, that seems really hard to play into.
And then Salad, I drew Coltwing game 3. And what was the other card? Coltwing, Gemba, and what's the equip? Phoenix Blade.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, wow, I guess I'm not going to win this one.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, so, you can't win them all.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing your deck list with me, and congratulations on your YCS top. Hopefully, we'll be seeing more profiles from you soon. I'm assuming you're planning to play more of this in the upcoming format.
I think it's the best deck. I just think it needs to not brick as hard as it does. I just think I need to make some minor adjustments with my sighting. I know that this list is like mostly sculpted, but my sighting can use a little bit probably better, make it cleaner. So that'd be the only thing I think I need to improve on it.
All right, man.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for sharing with us. See you again soon, man. All right, take it easy. Bye-bye.